2. What is up? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Shred Show live. I've got 2 new friends, 2 new guests, 2 incredible leaders from across the mortgage industry who are about to share some things with you that are absolutely going to impact your business and impact your life. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got Ward Morrison, President and CEO of Motto Mortgage, and I've also got Adam Smith, Vice President of Franchise Growth and Development at Motto Mortgage. And ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing how to build your business, how to have a motto of success within your life. You are not going to want to miss this. Turn the volume up, grab your cup of coffee. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Are you ready? It is time to shred. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and again, welcome to the Shred Show Live. I am so excited to be hanging out with the gentleman that I am this morning because a few months ago, I had the opportunity to sit down with them, get to know them a little bit better, and I'll tell you what, I don't know if there are 2 more gentlemen that I'm excited to share with you because they have got such an incredible background within this industry, not just mortgage, but real estate as well, and we're going to get into that. But I'm joined by Ward Morrison and Adam Sartin this morning. Guys, welcome to the Shred Show.
Hey, thank you.
Appreciate it.
So I want to dive right in this conversation. We have so much to talk about today, but before we do, I want to get to know you guys a little bit better because both of you, as I mentioned, have an extensive background within the industry. So Ward, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in the industry.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of a jungled mess. I actually was a real estate agent in a prior life, used to be a real estate developer, used to build spec homes up in Vail, Colorado, worked for Stewart Title for a period of time, and then joined the Remax brand back in the day where I ran some of the franchises we own where we had mortgage. Was a mortgage broker up in Vail as well, so I have that background. So I've been in the mortgage industry and then took over Motto in 2016 when we started, and the rest is history, man. We're just keep moving and chugging.
Dude, you literally have done it all, from title to realtor to everything in between. That's a pretty extensive background. You really do. You've seen the entire gamut, so that's pretty dang cool.
Sometimes it makes me look like a job hopper, but I don't know. I mean, we'll take it, you know.
You're kind of a jack of all trades. You understand what bits and pieces are needed to be successful within the industry, so I love it. So excited to chat a little bit more. But Adam, tell us how you got in the industry.
Interesting way. I wasn't looking to get into the industry. I had a friend that actually worked at Remax headquarters and said, hey, you'd be perfect for this job. And 12 and a half years later, Ward did an awesome job of recruiting me over to the Motto side of the business, but various different capacities working with our franchise owners and real estate agents and so closely related with the mortgage industry. So decided to make a change and work with our franchise owners and LOs over on the Motto side and really focusing on, how do we drive value through customer experience. So definitely been an interesting transition, but a fun transition at the same time.
Imagine that. You didn't want to be a mortgage professional as a little kid. None of us wanted to do, none of us imagined where we'd be within the industry now. But I love the stories because I would say 99% of them are like you, Adam. Like, I never planned on being in the mortgage or real estate industry. Just kind of fell into it. Or it always is like, well, I had a friend. And then next thing I knew, here I am 20 years later doing the same thing. So, but guys, and Adam, you even mentioned something that we're going to be talking about is experience, and something that continues to evolve within the industry is really having a motto, no pun intended, and having core values that guide a company, especially with the way the marketplace is. You guys have so many core values. You have 5 core values in particular, but as we were discussing and as we were having these conversations, there are 3 in particular that stood out to me. And I really want to touch on these because I think now more than ever, we need to be focusing on these 3 elements that help us as mortgage professionals. Because again, with interest rates, with the market, with housing, with the limited inventory that's out there, there's so many problems, and everybody's talking about the downs of the industry. I want to talk about the ups of the industry because Motto Mortgage in particular is doing such a great job helping their franchise owners succeed and find success. So I want to start with inclusion. Ward, this is something that as a core value of Motto just seems to fit so well because inclusion, collaboration, if you will, is such a big part of it. So why is inclusion such a big part of Motto's motto?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I mean, I think the biggest thing that we have is trying to gain feedback sometimes. Sometimes companies take an ivory tower approach. We know mortgage, we know what we're doing. You don't know anything, whether it's the consumer, whether it's the LO, and we reach out, man. We believe in getting feedback from our particular LOs and our owners. Every October, we give them a franchise business review, which is a third party doing a review, a survey of our owners to say, how are we doing? And man, sometimes we get the good, the bad, and the ugly back, man. We don't like it. They call our baby ugly, man. And we sit down in a room and we're like embarrassed almost, but we say, hey, what are we going to do to improve? What are we going to do to change? Because we're not making our customer happy. Same thing with the LOs. If the LOs are not, I'll give you an example in technology. We constantly have a focus group of LOs who give us feedback on our technology. Why? Because we want to improve it. And if you're not listening to your end customer, which in our case is the LO, you're not getting the great feedback that they're telling you. Hey, we want the tool to do this. We want the tool to integrate with that, whatever. We want to listen and we want to be inclusive and hear the feedback they give us for sure.
Well, and Adam, this is such a good point that Ward talks about. And being that you're the VP of growth, hearing what everybody's saying, kind of taking that into consideration is a big part of literally what you do on the day to day.
Sure. No, and Ward mentioned it, that white ivory tower approach is definitely one that we don't have. I think that feedback from our customer, whether it's our franchise owners or our LOs, I mean, that drives everything that we do, from providing additional components of value, our experiences. We've got boots on the ground. Part of what my team does is they actually travel out to our offices and conduct events and meet with LOs and owners in their space, in their marketplaces where they are, to ensure that, like Ward said, we're getting that feedback, but also we're doing something with that feedback. And a lot of times the feedback is awesome and it's great and it's good to have that shot in the arm. But sometimes you got to hear the ugly part. And the ugly part is where we have that continuous improvement of how do we do things to get better for the network.
Well, I like that you mentioned the ugly part of it. And Ward, I think you have something to even say, because there is, especially right now with all the doom and gloom in the industry, all the negative, there is a lot of negative. But as leaders, as you both are, sometimes hearing that, but also not just like, okay, I hear you, we're not going to do anything about it. It's like, hey, that's a valid point. Let's, how are we going to address this? How are we going to improve on it and move forward from it?
And I think the broker channel in general, with its options and choice, is being more inclusive in general, right? It's giving LOs opportunities to go out there and help people who might not fit into, just a straight, A+ loan type, right? We're finding different opportunities within the broker channel every day. And I'm not trying to knock any of the other channels. I'm just saying we're bullish on brokerage. We're bullish on consumer choice. And if you're offering the consumer's choice, you're being more inclusive to the consumer, right? You're finding, hey, I can get you in an FHA, or maybe you fit for a VA, or maybe you're, rural USDA, whatever. We want to make sure we're providing inclusive nature to the consumer, not just the LO, of saying, hey, are we giving you enough choice so that you can go out and win one additional deal in this tough market? Because in this tough market, man, you got to keep fighting. You got to throw some elbows. You got to be scrappy. You got to have a different product mix. You got to offer the consumer something to differentiate yourself to be successful.
Oh, you mentioned something there, Ward, and Adam, you even mentioned it as well. Is you talked about technology, having the tools, having everything that is needed for the mortgage professional to be successful. And that's the next value I want to talk about with you guys. And I've seen it firsthand as I've attended your events, as I've worked with the team, is there's a lot of innovation happening within Motto. And that's something the industry is evolving. Everything. That's the one constant. I always tell people the one constant in our industry is change. So innovation, improving on the process is such a big deal. And Adam, to that point, the innovation process at Motto is second to none.
Sure. I think of technology as something that is vital to the industry, but it's definitely not going to replace either the real estate agent. It's not going to replace the owner or the LO. So understanding how does technology kind of fit into that equation is kind of a focus for Ward and I. Automation is the name of the game. Time is so valuable, so important to whether it's the end consumer or the LOs or the owners. So for us, it's like, how do we have technology in our toolbox to be able to leverage that time component? One key piece of technology is a loan brokering system, right? That's the basis of what LOs do. And so understanding, having that feedback from that focus group of, hey, if we were to truly go out and build or leverage an LBS, what does that look like? What are some of the key features and components that are going to help you do more deals in less time. And so, through our new rollout of our Wemlo LBS platform, that is definitely looking at that. Another automation component is model rep, and looking at, how do you actually look at the reputation of an LO? But more importantly, how do you add other components of marketing and advertising, of going out and not only leveraging the Motto brand, but building upon your brand and putting it out there in the marketplace? But, people aren't, LOs aren't marketing advertisers. They're not people that sit behind doors and create, flyers and campaigns and all of that. They don't have the time, nor do they want to. So being able to have, tools in your toolbox that we have done that for you, and it's basically a set it and forget it mentality. That is, the approach that we take when it comes to technology.
Adam, both you and I know that mortgage professionals are not marketing people. They just, and that's why having the innovation, having those solutions for them is so critical. And Ward, to that point, that is something, and Adam mentioned this as well, time is money right now. And especially in this world that we live in with the chaos, the more we are able to, and more companies like Motto are able to allow their loan officers and their mortgage professionals to go out there, boots on the ground, and focus on the activities that are truly important. That's what innovation is all about.
Yeah, I think there also is, like he talked about, is automation, but integration, right? There's so many tools out there, and you talk about them all the time, Josh. But how do you combine them? How do you make them talk to each other so that it's easier for the LO to use? Like we use Total Expert, which very, very few brokerages use at all. It's in the retail channel for sure, mortgage banking channel. But like in ours, we said, hey, it's a tough tool, but how do we get our loan origination system to automatically talk to that, to automatically keep sending out to customers so that there is that point of contact, that open communication, the transparency? Well, if you just went out and bought the two tools, you can't make them talk together. Our job with our team is to make them talk together, make them integrate from beginning to end. So when I start here and I start a loan application, it does something here. And then in addition, like he talked about with Motto Rep, keeps pushing out content to that consumer in the future, right? Because you want that refi. You want that customer for life. And if you're not out there marketing to your base, somebody else is, right? Because there's some people who are great at marketing, and we're trying to help our people do that without even having to think. It was the weirdest thing. Like with technology, I always worry about adoption. With some of our tools, we have like what appears to be no adoption because they just log in once and they never have to touch it again, right? Because it just keeps gaining information from our other systems to make them more effective, the LO.
See, go ahead, Adam.
Oh, no, I was just going to say one other thing to add, when it comes to that whole technology space, is it consistently changes almost daily, if not hourly. And so, we've always had the approach and the mentality of I&I, which is intentional improvement. So truly looking at, what do we have now and how do we do it bigger, better, faster than what we've done? But also getting that feedback is so important from the network. And us not just saying, hey, here's the decision that we think is going to be in the best interest of everyone, but no, this is what our end user, our customer is actually saying, so that they're more engaged with actually using it.
Oh, I like that I&I, the intentional improvement. I like that. And both of you have mentioned this, that technology, and so many people right now in the world of AI, everybody's like, oh, AI is going to replace us all. It's taking it, like it's going to replace our jobs. And I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, if you think that it's going to replace your job, this is an extra resource. It's an extra tool. And again, as a leadership, even hearing both of you, that's how you're looking at it. It's like, hey, how do we use what's available for us to better our process, to include it in the process, to help our mortgage professionals be more efficient with their time, be more effective with those conversations with our consumers as they're going out there and they're helping people achieve that dream of home ownership. How do we, again, have innovation within the process that's going to help them? Now, I want to kind of change the conversation a little bit, because this is something as part of you guys' values. You guys have enthusiasm, and everybody knows on the show that is what I am known for. As you see, sure. Enthusiasm was what I am all about. And why I wanted to talk about this is because as we started in a world, and especially in an industry right now where there's so much doom and gloom, meeting both of you in person when we did at your guys' event in Vegas, you guys were both enthusiastic. You were positive. You look forward to the future with so much hope and positivity. So this motto in particular, when I saw my enthusiasm, this encapsulate exactly who Motto is, who the leadership is. So Ward, why enthusiasm? Why is that such an important part of it?
man, if you're not having fun in life, man, why even live it is what I always say, man. Start
Right.
living, man. Start having a good time. And I think you came to our Motto Mile, which is our annual event where we get everybody together. What a lot of people don't know about the broker channels, there's sort of individual islands out there a lot of times, but ours is the power of a network. And we bring people together. We call it cooperation, right? We're competing against each other, but we're competing, cooperating. But man, I always forgot how competitive LOs are. So, you have brokers who can't really compete against anybody, but in our network, they're competing against each other. They're crossing stage, taking awards, and we just want them to be pumped up, man. We want them to get excited. I can't tell you how many times Adam and I talk to people backstage and like, man, I'm going to be beating that dude next year, right? I'm going to crush him. I can't believe I'm third this year. And I'm like, let's do it, man. And I get so pumped for them that they want to be, up there on stage. And that's just sort of the start of the enthusiasm, but it's really having fun as well, right? You got to have fun in this industry because it is one of the funnest industries. You get to help people, you get to change their lives, get them in the biggest home. And if you're not enthusiastic about that, I don't know what you're going to be enthusiastic about.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Ward, this is so many people miss that. Yes. And let's just call it it is what it is. We have the opportunity and we're very blessed to do very well financially as mortgage professionals, but also this is fun. Plus we get to help people achieve that dream of a home ownership, whether it's a first time buyer, whether it's a veteran buying their first home, whatever it is, we truly have that opportunity and it is fun. Yes, it comes with its ups and downs. We're not going to lie. Let's call it as it is. It can be a little bit tricky at times, a little bit challenging, but that's what also makes it fun as well. And Adam, again, seeing your enthusiasm as both you and Ward have such an extensive knowledge of the industry, really putting that enthusiasm, that fun as Ward like to calls it, as he calls it, it really is something as we as leaders can show them like, hey, you know what? Let's look to the future with positivity. We can all succeed together.
Yeah, no, I call that the power of the Motto network. There's a saying out there that you play better golf with better golfers. And so you surround yourself by people that are out there doing awesome and doing great things. And, that is the power of our network. You can have an owner or an LO in Florida pick up the phone. And as Ward mentioned, that cooperation, pick up the phone and say, hey, here's another top producing LO. Like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing in your marketplace? How are you connecting with your consumers? How are you connecting with your agents? And so for us, that power is so vital for us to build upon that network, but also go out and say, hey, these are your peers. And these are your peers that are doing awesome in their marketplaces. And everyone's willing to share. And I think that is the most important part of this, is that everyone is willing to share in that level of success.
Sounds like I got to hang out with you so I can improve my golf game a little bit more.
I don't know about that. I definitely do not know about the golf game for sure.
But Josh, one last thing. I mean, we want to give back too. I think that creates enthusiasm, right? So we have our motto, mission against hunger, right? So all of our people participate in food drives throughout the year. They get together with their agent referral partners and do it, right? To try and develop deeper relationships. It's altruistic for sure. We want to give food to food banks, food charities, everything like that. But a lot of times they use it as a marketing tool to connect deeper with the relationships of those agent referral partners, which is all that matters right now. I mean, I'm telling you, with refis, as low as they are, you got to have the real estate agent who still, I always hate to say it, they control like 90% of the time they control the referral. And if you're not developing those partners, and the way you do is build deeper relationships. And sometimes going to an event and giving back and participating in community with that agent referral partner, man, it's just going to make that connection deeper and harder to break for somebody else to come in and take that business from you.
And there's a stat out there by the Harvard Business Review that they went out and surveyed consumers and I guess more specifically the demographic millennials, and they said, hey, who do you guys want to do business with? And they said, we are more likely to do business with companies or organizations that align themselves with some sort of charitable organization. So for us, that mission against hunger is so vitally important because, again, it's about how do we have an impact? How do our offices and our LOs have an impact in their local communities? And that is a unique way for them to be able to connect with all demographics.
Oh, guys, this is such a great note to end on because that's what it is all about. As we've mentioned, from inclusion to innovation to enthusiasm, and now wrapping up on this, there's so much. And attending the Motto Mile, you mentioned this, Ward, but as I attend a lot of events, but attending it, that sense of community, belonging, cooperation, as you mentioned it was so strong. And especially the broker channel, you mentioned this, Ward, a lot of times, you kind of are on your own island, but being part of the Motto family, part of the Motto community, it's just different. There's so much more. It's just not another mortgage company. It's really a surrounding yourself with other like-minded people who can help you achieve the success that you want. So guys, this has been an incredible conversation. I cannot thank you guys enough for coming and hanging out with us, for sharing the knowledge that you did. It has been absolutely brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have questions, we will drop a link below that you can reach out to the Motto family. And if you need that assistance, if you want to become part of something more, maybe Motto is a good place for you to reach out to these guys and have a great conversation. So Adam, Ward, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. This has been absolutely amazing.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Guys, as always, we appreciate you. We love you. Now it's time for all of you guys to go out and shred, show up, hustle, repeat every day. See ya.